Number 2 in our ranking of the 50 greatest players of all time is a gentleman you might be familiar with, a certain Magnus Carlsen, born in the year 1990, which means he's not 30 years old yet at the time of recording. But he's done quite a bit, Peter, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's won 4 world championships and he's been now more than 10 years and counting world number 1. And as you say, when you're not 30 years old, that's a pretty impressive, career to have, right? What highest ranking ever, 2882 as well. So, he's done everything there is to do, and he's done it numerous times. And that puts him in spot number 2. And give him 10 more years, he might actually be number 1.
Could very well be. Of course, we don't want to spoil who is number 1, but you guys probably have a bit of an idea at this point. Yeah, there is, it doesn't even make sense to list his accomplishments. No, he's won everything and also lost nothing. No, he doesn't have a match loss. He's won the majority of big tournaments. He's been dominant. He has the longest unbeaten streak in history at Grandmaster level, or at the highest level. Mm-hmm. He's won in every format, World Rapid, World Blitz, and so on and so forth. No, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he played his candidates, he won it and such. I mean, there is just nothing he hasn't done, as you say, and also most things he's done numerous times. I'm not sure, maybe he already has the biggest number of wins at Waigensee, for instance, the traditional tournament and such. I mean, you cannot compare him to other person's standards, only his own these days, both in matters of results and in matters of ratings and quality of his chess, right? And sort of during this 10-year reign he had, at times there has been some competition, at other times he's been completely dominant, right? But he's always been there and he's always been number 1. Of course, there was a few moments where Caruana was incredibly close to overtaking, but sort of by fluke accidents didn't do it. But at other times there has been a considerable gap between Magnus and the rest, and always, between Magnus and number 5, there's been a humongous gap, basically, right? So he's, been on his league on his own with a considerable amount of distance.
Yeah, and it always felt, I think, in the last 10 years, when he enters a tournament, he's the favorite, right? Of course, other people have won tournaments. Wesley So had this amazing streak in 2016. Caruana has won pretty much every major tournament as well. But other than Caruana coming very close to him in rating at this one point, he has been the clear dominator of the chess world in this time.
If anything you could say where he hadn't completely been shining is actually his World Championship matches. But that's also a strict verdict. I mean, he's won them all 4. But 2 of them has been with playoffs, right? And with Vichy was very close to equalizing to an equal score in game 11 and such. But still, he has 4 matches, 4 wins. It's also hard to argue that. I mean, if we want to detract something, we immediately start assuming he has this superhuman level, and he does, but that's why we put him here. But if you just look at the bare facts, you can only be impressed, right?
Yeah, no, the question is historically what one can compare it with. Of course, Fischer, who we had at number 3, has a greater dominance over a shorter period, which we will probably never see again. Kasparov, who might or might not show up on this list, has, I think, similar levels of dominance for a longer time. And other than that, it's very hard to compare. Like Aljechin, for example, I don't know if his results compare from 27 to 37 with Magnus's 10 years. Aljechin loses a match in there, and then the older champions like Lasker, they did not face this level of competition at all times. No?
But how would we judge the level of competition? I mean, it's maybe also difficult when you don't have what happens next and such, in a way, right? But is Magnus born in a very competitive age, or is there actually some kind of vacuum? It's a very awkward question to answer, because I think we lack information in a way, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Of course, he beats one of the great champions in Vichy, but Vichy is at a later stage of his career then. And then the question is there not much competition, or is Magnus so dominant? And if Magnus wasn't there, we would still think of the likes of Caruana, Aronian, you name them, as absolute greats of the game. Just Magnus is even greater. I don't know.
No, it's a bit difficult to judge. I think it's very difficult to judge someone from here, which is actually in the middle of their careers, right? But well, I guess some would argue that he's high, but well, we are still. It's already 4 wins and it's already 10 years plus, right? I mean, it's how justifies for it. But also, I mean, I mentioned that, give him some time, he could move up. You can also make the reverse argument, give him some time and he could move down, I guess, right? It's, yeah.
Hard to say always how much we factor in if people have a weaker second arc, because if you compare it pretty much with anybody his last 10 years, 4 World Championship wins, 0 losses, highest rating ever, longest unbeaten streak ever, and so on and so forth. There are, throughout history, I don't think he's overrated at number 2. There's not.
No, I mean, we're talking that. His reign is actually already longer than Karpov's as number 1, which is quite something. We used to see Karpov as dominating for a considerable amount of time, but Magnus has, despite being only 29, actually, topped that already, right? So. No, I think it's fair, and I think also, well, we have sort of Fischer as number 3. I mean, I think Magnus just deserves to be ahead of him. As you say, the peak moment is maybe shorter, but the dominance is considerably longer and such, right? And also, well, he's put his title up for grabs to. I mean, he actually had to defend it 3 times while Fischer did. So.
Yeah, he's also always been a playing world champion. Now he's playing in pretty much all the major tournaments. So, yeah, very little to say against his record.
Yeah, always, yeah, in general. But, I mean, no, it feels a bit awkward also. It's not a secret that we are both employed by him in one way or the other as his trainers and such. So maybe it's a strange subject. But let's maybe show... the crowning moment of his World Championship career, perhaps, right?
Yeah, we could talk about chess style, chess contribution a bit first, where, yeah, I'm sure his name has come up. He's obviously a universal player, has changed his style a bit over the years as well. I think mainly he's thought of as an incredibly accurate guy as well, like in the
very much so.
Legacy of Capablanca, Smyslov, Fischer, those types of players, but especially the last 2 years, I would say 2018 and following, he's played much sharper, much more attacking games. Yeah. So he is fairly...
Earlier he was seen as a technician, right? Then he beat Vichy. He was doing it in the sense of just playing very long games. I think I saw a quote of, was it maybe Petrosyan who took down Botvinnik by playing very long technical games, and Magnus could have said exactly the same 30 years later, right? I mean, there was endings where, if Vichy had played Kramnik, you could almost see them agreeing a draw, while Magnus just tore him down. Well, he also did it in other phases of the game, but I think he thought that this was the most practical in a way, right? And now maybe he has evolved, as you say, and he's started to play much sharper and things. Also, well, we're recording here in 2020. We're in the middle of the COVID crisis, or in the middle, who knows when it finishes. But we started playing rapid chess, and that also does things to your style and such. But I think basically he's a universal player who can do everything, but maybe technically is where he has his biggest edge, and maybe also, as you say, just the level of precision tends to be extremely high.
Yeah, when we're talking changes that Carlsen brought, I think you know better than me, but 2 aspects that he's always prioritized is physical fitness, which is a bit different from the generation before him, I would say. Also, of course, helps with this ability to play long games and be technically very precise. And then I think, obviously, there are always exceptions to everything, but he's also brought a bit of a shift in. He's not trying to solve the game mathematically to have a completely, to force draws with black and have a risk-free position with white, which was a bit more the spirit in the 90s, early 2000s, or throughout the 2000s, I would say. Well, he's made it more about it's a game and I'm better than you, and I'll try to get a position.
You're right that the sort of a shift from, let's say, his predecessors Vichy and Kramnik to a pure game-playing person like Magnus, there is a definitely, I mean, there, you say especially with Black, he's just trying to wear down his opponent and things like that. And well, this earlier debate, is chess science, is it art, is it sport? I mean, with Magnus, it's pretty clear it's a sport. Right?
Magnus is a sportsman, yeah, there are different ways to
Magnus
be good
is
at
just
chess.
a sportsman.
Yeah.
That's also why he's so fit. He actually enjoys doing sports, right?
All right, let's look at one defining moment, probably not his proudest match actually, the 2016 match against Kayakin, where he's a big favorite, but the match goes into...
Again, it depends on what you're proud of. I mean, this is something that gets out of control and then you manage to win it anyway, right? I mean, well, this is game 4 of the rapid playoff. Magnus is leading 2-1, so at this point things are actually back on track, but yeah. Well, he was behind. He equalized in game 10. Then in this rapid match, well, he was winning game 2, but it was only a draw. Then he managed to win with Black, and now finally he could start playing. You know, I mean, with this sort of, you know, it's not just one accident and I'm out. But well, again, if we talk in terms of legacy, Magnus has an incredible career. But if you lose a match on your peak to Kayakin, who was considerably lower, then well, you're going to drop some spots, right? So, I mean, he's actually performing under a lot of pressure, where he has much more to lose than to win. I think at this stage, this match was already a success for Kayakin. We're just talking about what level of success. While for Magnus, well, losing the title obviously would be a considerable blow to his career.
Yeah. This game he only needs a draw with white, so Kayakin had to take risks. They don't really work out. He gets a tough position out of the opening that we can see here. And the main reason we chose this game is, well, not only the sporting relevance, but also the final combination. Hey, ich komm gleich. We have a little guest star here. But yeah, let's jump ahead to...
I mean,
gucken gerade Magnus Carlsen.
Magnus is just outplaying him now. He generously offers a draw by repetition, just to sort of, because he knows the opponent can't take it, right? Because of the match situation. So.
Gleich, ne, 2 Minuten noch die Partie und dann können wir. Alright, I gotta make this quick. Here's an exchange up. No particular worries for Mr. Carlsen.
Oh, but still here, you have to calculate a bigger exactly that you're not made it here. And then,
yeah,
well, this is the beautiful moment that, I mean, well, you cannot write fairy tales like that. I think I told Norwegian media, when we played King H7, that, well, let's say, if in the musical chess, if you ended up with a finish like this, no one will believe you because it's too good to be true. But it actually happened.
Yeah. And it is maybe the most beautiful move ever played in a World Championship match, no? Or in the final game.
Yeah, it's also I mean, it's a walk-off. You put the queen there and the match is over, right? I mean, you can start celebrating. No, I mean, it was a relief, let's put it like that. I mean, yeah. There's no doubt.
I'm sure you guys spotted it by now. Queen h6 check, and it turns out it's checkmate next move. King h6, rook h8, or gh, rook f7. Which, yeah, is also a very unusual construction, no? We haven't seen this particular idea.
I mean, of course, there always exists some kind of example in history, but you have to go back long, etc. and such. So, yeah. Well, you can see how his compatriot is celebrating in the background, so maybe it's a good time to stop on.
Yep, that's Magnus Carlsen at spot number 2, and stay tuned for number 1. Who could it be? Thanks for watching.